The world will remember this day.
The Trinity test and the revelation of the first atomic explosion to the world was one of the most important moments in the 20th century.
It was a massive, miraculous project that many thousands of people were involved with. It touched government, it touched science, it had huge ramifications for all sorts of ordinary people.
The Trinity test and the development and the race and the fact that it was all attempting to save kind of humanity from fascism.
World War II would be over. Our boys would come home.
This is a matter of life and death.
But I can perform this miracle.
What was really interesting was going back and trying to understand what these guys were thinking and the terrible decisions that were placed in front of them.
I don't know if we can be trusted with such a weapon, but I know the Nazis can't.
We live in the world that we live in because of what happened at Los Alamos.
Why would we go to the middle of nowhere for who knows how long?
How about because this is the most important thing to ever happen in the history of the world?
All through humanity, we've been blinded by ambition and pursuit, and then the ramifications are something else.
It's happening, isn't it?
I think that's why it's so bizarre and amazing that Chris is making this movie now. We're seeing parallels.
It's a profoundly overwhelming experience watching it. It's not a history lesson. It's not telling people this is what you must learn from this, but I think it's very clear it can reflect back on what's happening in the world today.
When I asked Chris what was interesting about why he wanted to make it, he said, I always found that very interesting that when they were doing the Trinity test, they were asked, what are the chances of this going wrong and it blowing up the entire world?
Chances are near zero. Near zero.
What do you want from theory alone?
Zero would be nice.
Detonator charged.
What is that decision to just still go ahead and do it?
It's an extraordinary moment in human history, and I wanted to take the audience into that room and be there when that button is pushed and really fully bring the audience to this moment in time.
3, 2, 1.
We imagine a future, and our imaginings horrify us.
In the case of this film, I wrote the script in the first person. It's the only time I've done that. It made it clear to anyone who read the script that we're on this ride with Oppenheimer.
It was very unusual. It took me a minute to actually comprehend, and then I realized, oh, that's a huge responsibility.
I don't know if we can be trusted, but I know the Nazis can't.
Cillian playing Oppenheimer was the centerpiece of the film, but I knew that he was going to need the most extraordinary ensemble around him.
Let's go recruit some scientists.
If Chris Nolan calls you and says that he'd like to meet with you, you're like, I don't care what it is.
You'd be mad to say no. I feel like that's probably everybody's answer with this.
From the second I read the script, I knew that he had a very acute vision, and if he were able to render that vision, that this film would be a masterpiece.
All America's industrial might and scientific innovation connected here. Keep everyone there until it's done.
It feels to me like every single character is significant because they're all historical figures of consequence.
There's a chance when we push that button, we destroy the world. Chances are near zero.
I tried to familiarize myself with Groves and the history, and then talk to Chris about what he needed from that part. Groves was almost like a kindergarten teacher in some respects because these scientists were so eccentric and not necessarily trustworthy. I mean, if you're looking from a military perspective.
Why would we go to the middle of nowhere for who knows how long?
Why? How about because this is the most important thing to ever happen in the history of the world?
I was aware of who Louis Strauss was. I came to have a pretty even-handed understanding of him. He was a righteous guy. I think he was a great public servant, but he's always behind the scenes. I've always appreciated the people who are backstage.
Truman needs to know what's next. What's next?
With Kitty Oppenheimer, what I really was drawn to is she refused to conform to the sort of feminine ideal of the time. She had this defiance against the system that felt so modern.
Jean Tatlock was blunt, knew what she wants, but at no point is she ever punished for that, and especially not by Oppenheimer.
Theory will take you only so far.
Oppenheimer sees things in sort of different dimensions. Physicists operate on a completely different level than we do, and I think sometimes it's a burden. So I was really interested in that.
What we were looking for was a remarkably centered performance, the heart of the film, but also an ensemble piece. I was there on set every day, surrounded by a team of actors who knew more than I did about what was going on from their point of view. And that's what you're really looking for as a director.
It's a profoundly moving and overwhelming experience watching it, because you feel so compelled to watch what's happening with these people and how they're drawn into the biggest of moral dilemmas and what they're wrestling with, all of the characters.
With the sound design and the score and the emotionality of it, this is not a film, this is an experience.
When I saw it in its finished form, I was kind of like, wow, yeah, that's what we were hoping this could be.
The world will remember this day.